New bombshell regarding disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein this morning. Axios obtained a memo from the DOJ that concludes Epstein did not have a client list and that he died.
I don't want to be scared of this video of them whacking this dude. You know they whacked him. Yes. That's 100%.
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein.
The Epstein Client list is back in the headlines, and Joe Rogan and Ricky Gervais are not staying quiet.
Him saying, don't virtue signal, just come out here and get your little prize, go off, because nobody cares about your opinion. I was like, thank you. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. Thank God. That guy swings. He's out there swinging from the hip.
With powerful names allegedly tied to Epstein, the list is sparking outrage, suspicion, and a whole lot of nervous energy in elite circles.
Tonight, as a bitter war of words develops between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and alleging that he is named in the files of the late convicted defender, Jeffrey Epstein.
And when two of the most brutally honest voices in entertainment weigh in, it hits different. So what did they say? And what actually happened to the Epstein client list? Let's get into it. Let's talk facts, suspicion, and the kind of Hollywood hypocrisy that stinks from coast to coast. We're living through a moment that feels straight out of a political thriller, except it's real. The Epstein client list, once the smoking gun everyone was waiting for, is now being treated like it never existed. The public is being gaslit into thinking this was all just a conspiracy theory. But if that's true, why is everyone in power still acting like they've got something to hide?
The agencies also say they found no evidence that Epstein blackmailed powerful people.
Let's start with Joe Rogan. On his podcast, Rogan has repeatedly brought up the Epstein case, often asking why it hasn't received more aggressive scrutiny. Why are journalists ignoring it? Why are celebrities running away from it like it's radioactive? In a recent episode, he and his guests didn't hold back, calling out the silence from powerful figures in media and politics. Rogan has pointed out that if this were any other scandal, the media would have jumped all over it.
Well, that seems so crazy to think there's not a list.
That's what Jimmy
said.
But because the names involved are worth billions and sit at the very top of the elite pyramid, it's being brushed under the rug. Rogan has previously been a staunch defender of Trump and was seen as instrumental during his 2024 election campaign. However, speaking out on X, he wrote, "Shout out to all the people that still don't believe in conspiracies. Your ability to stick to your guns is inspiring." Many in the replies took this to be a dig at Trump and Bondi over their handling of the Epstein case and those who are willing to move on from the escalating scandal. Trump's MAGA base is in a fury after a report from Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel concluded that accused child Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in jail and did not leave behind a client list.
The media spins up about it. Many in the media protected him. Why? Because of his relationships, who he knew, who his bankers were, who his colleagues were, who was on the island and stuff like that. Some pretty powerful human beings.
Trump's MAGA fans have contended that Epstein was silenced by the deep state in order to protect elites who had used Epstein's services. They believe Epstein was and did leave behind a client list, and that now the Trump administration is part of the same deep state cover-up. Bondi in February claimed that she had the Epstein list on her desk for review. Bondi eventually released documents to right-wing media outlet that were found to contain no new revelations about the Epstein case. But Rogan has broken with Trump on the key issue of deportations, with Rogan calling the deportations horrific and insane. Though he has a major conservative fan base, Rogan has said that he holds more left-wing views than right-wing ones, and has called Democratic President Barack Obama the best president of all time. Rogan's post on X, while not calling out anyone or anything in particular, earned a stream of replies referencing the Epstein case. Some spoke to their belief of a cover-up, while others ripped into Rogan for believing in conspiracies. One commenter shared a clip of Bondi promising Fox News' Jesse Waters in February that "you're gonna see some Epstein information being released by my office." It's pretty sick what that man did. Notorious conspiracy theorist Alex Jones also weighed in. "People tell me that all of my conspiracy theories came true. They were already true," he wrote. "The population is just now realizing how much we have been lied to by the establishment." Rogan's post, which has racked up millions of views, came after he appeared to break ranks with the administration over its stance on mass deportations. He called the administration's deportations horrific during an episode in March. The same month, he announced on another episode that he holds more left-wing positions than right-wing ones. In an episode, Rogan again panned the the president's deportation policies as insane. Such comments have drawn pushback from Rogan's largely conservative fan base. Over the weekend, actor Mark Ruffalo blasted Rogan for expressing frustration that followed through his campaign promise of mass deportations. Despite backing Trump in the 2024 election and hosting him on his podcast in October, Rogan has repeatedly said that he does not subscribe to either party. It's not about Republican or Democrat because I voted for Obama, but only because Ron Paul, a real Republican, wasn't on the ballot, he tweeted after Obama beat late Senator John McCain in July 2009. Meanwhile, Ricky Gervais, with his no-filter attitude, has been using satire and dark humor to call out the hypocrisy of the Hollywood elite. Remember his 2020 Golden Globes monologue? He practically predicted this. Gervais joked that the crowd in front of him worked for companies with horrifying ties to human rights abuses and said, "You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world." That line didn't age. It exploded in meaning as the Epstein scandal got deeper.
You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
Footage of Ricky Gervais taking aim at the rich and famous for their ties to Jeffrey Epstein has gone viral after many of the names of former associates, employees, friends, and victims of the deceased offender were released. The names were unsealed from a lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre in 2024, an alleged trafficking victim, against British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend. Many of those whose names appear in the documents released aren't accused of wrongdoing or have been mentioned previously in legal proceedings or news accounts. Despite persistent assertions across social media, the documents released are not an Epstein client list.
Like, there's no one who's been arrested that she too.
And that's what Aaron's saying. Well, there's a list that's out. Who knows if it's fake? I don't know. It could be a fake list.
In December 2024, U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska found no legal justification for continuing to withhold the names of as many as 175 individuals allegedly connected with Epstein, ordering the unsealing to begin from January 1st, 2024. Some portions of the records will remain confidential, including those identifying people who were children when they were by Epstein, who died by suicide in August 2019 in a federal prison in Manhattan as he awaited trial on charges. With the release of the names, including a number of celebrities, a clip of comedian Gervais taking swipes at celebrities while hosting the 2020 Golden Globe Awards has been shared on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. As he stood before the crowd gathered in Beverly Hills to toast TV and movie talent, five-time host Gervais said, "In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, from all different backgrounds. But they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you." Farrow, son of Mia Farrow, worked on a number of exposés on Harvey Weinstein's misconduct. Disgraced movie producer Weinstein was last February sentenced to 16 years in prison after he was found guilty of committing crimes in Los Angeles County. He has been ordered to serve the sentence on the completion of his 23-year term behind bars from his sexual assault conviction in New York. During his Golden Globe speech, Gervais stated that everyone's watching Netflix over movies at theaters. After mocking the Golden Globes broadcast, Gervais advised viewers to switch off and watch his Netflix comedy, Afterlife. "You can binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife," he told the audience. "That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself after his wife dies of cancer. It has a second season though, so he obviously doesn't kill himself in the end, just like Jeffrey Epstein." As laughs and gasps were heard coming from the well-heeled attendees gathered at the Beverly Hilton, Gervais quipped, "I know he's your friend, but I don't care."
So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Relentless podcast host Kyle Becker shared the clip on X late Wednesday, where as of press time, it has garnered more than 6 million views. Becker erroneously labeled Gervais' speech as having taken place at the Oscars. Remember Hollywood elite's nervous laughter at the Oscars when Ricky Gervais joked about the Epstein list? Becker wrote, "Now we all know why. This is glorious." The footage included cutaways to such audience members as Cate Blanchett, who was named in the unsealed documents, and a seemingly shocked Tom Hanks, who for some time has been falsely tied to Epstein on social media. Now fast forward to 2024-2025. Gervais has started alluding to the Epstein case with sarcastic remarks and blunt observations. The guy's not directly naming names, but the implication is loud and clear. There's a group of people who've convinced themselves they're untouchable, and he's not buying it. But the story doesn't stop with just two celebrities calling it out. It took a major twist when Elon Musk, yes, that Elon decided to stir the pot in the most Elon Musk way possible by trolling Donald Trump Trump and hinting that Trump himself might be on the Epstein list. One tweet. That's all it took for a political firestorm to break out. Musk basically said what a lot of people were afraid to admit out loud. If so many powerful names are tied to Epstein, then it's very possible that includes people like Trump, who, let's not forget, was photographed and socialized with Epstein multiple times.
Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public.
Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI leaders had pledged to release information about Epstein after President Trump returned to the White House earlier this year. Files related to Epstein's case, as well as the circumstances surrounding his death, have been the subject of conspiracy theories for years. Among the speculation about the records involving Epstein was that the federal government was concealing information to shield powerful and prominent figures who were allegedly named in them. In February, a group of 15 right-wing social media influencers went to the White House and were given binders labeled the Epstein Files, Phase 1. The influencers said they received the binders from Bondi during a meeting that Mr. Trump, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Vice President J.D. Vance also attended. But any hopes of new information were quickly dashed. As the social media figure said, the binders contained documents that were already in the public domain. Bondi confirmed that the first tranche of declassified files largely contained records that were leaked but had not been made public by the federal government.
And so when you peel back the layer, and then what happened? The Trump administration, the last go round, decided, no, we're not going to let that go. We're going to investigate him, right? They charge him, they indict him.
Still, after Elon Musk and Mr. Trump had a falling out last month, the billionaire entrepreneur claimed that the administration had withheld the so-called Epstein files because the president was named in them. In response, Mr. Trump shared a social media post that rebuffed Musk's claim. The president told NBC News in an interview that any alleged links between him and Epstein were old news, and said he had not been friendly with the convicted sex offender for 18 years before his death. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defended the administration's approach to Epstein's case on Monday, telling reporters that it is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the president's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. She said, "There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption, but they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that." When asked about the client list that Bondi said was on her desk, Leavitt said the Attorney General was referring to the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing.
The FBI and Justice Department said in their memo that the review confirmed that Epstein harmed more than 1,000 victims, each of whom suffered unique trauma. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends, the memo said. The Justice Department and FBI added that while they have labored to provide the public with maximum information about Epstein and examine evidence in the government's possession, they determined that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. Now here's where the plot thickens, and where Sean Diddy Combs walks into the chaos. People are saying that Trump's name is in the list. That is why the list is not being released, and to save his own skin, he can pardon Diddy. Hollywood isn't sleeping, and the industry is beginning to sweat. With each passing day, the walls are closing in as sources leak more and more details about the high-profile players involved in everything from shady financial deals to dubious political ties. And then, of course, there's the explosive topic everyone's been waiting for, the release of Epstein's files. But it's not just about the infamous financier anymore. As the heat intensifies, whispers are circulating that Diddy, the mogul at the center of some of Hollywood's most scandalous rumors, might soon have his own files released.
Elon Musk is not holding back. He says Eminem is another Diddy party participant after it was announced that Eminem was going to introduce Barack Obama in Detroit.
Last year, some sources claimed that Trump might soon release files revealing everyone connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And it might not stop there. Diddy's name has come up in these rumors, and now people are wondering, will Trump use his influence to expose the music mogul too, just like he's been demanding the release of Epstein's full list of contacts?
All associates or associated with Diddy, and Diddy is indicted in New York, and he's awaiting trial for very serious criminal.
Donald Trump, always the wild card, has promised to release files that many have been waiting for. Files not just on Jeffrey Epstein and his twisted network, but also on other figures who have been moving in and out of the most elite circles in Hollywood. So this could involve Trump's name as well, and with Musk's tweet, it seems like it is confirmed. Donald Trump has always liked showing off his presidential power and getting involved in celebrity drama. Even though Sean Diddy Combs is facing serious allegations and is currently on trial for federal racketeering and there's been talk for a while that Trump might pardon him. Now, Trump has said he's open to helping Diddy, someone he once called a good friend. Article 2, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution gives the president the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. That means the president can forgive federal crimes. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York have charged Diddy with 5 serious criminal counts. According to NBC News, these charges include: Diddy faces 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison, 2 counts of STFing by force, fraud, or coercion, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison, and 2 counts transportation to engage institution, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. In addition to the criminal case, Diddy is also facing dozens of civil lawsuits. However, those are separate from the federal trial, and Trump has no authority to pardon anyone in civil cases. Still, Trump has said he's open to the idea of a pardon, although he claims no one has officially asked him yet. Trump said that no one had officially asked him about a pardon for Diddy, but he believed people were thinking about it and that some had come very close to asking.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked, but I know people are thinking about it.
He explained that he would first look at what was happening, though he admitted he hadn't been following the case closely, even though it was getting a lot of media coverage. Trump mentioned he hadn't seen or spoken to Diddy in years. He recalled that Diddy used to like him a lot, but their relationship seemed to have fallen apart when Trump entered politics, at least according to things he had read. Trump said Diddy never told him directly, but he had come across some negative statements in the press. Ultimately, Trump said he would consider the facts, and if he believed someone had been treated unfairly, it wouldn't matter whether that person liked him or not. It wouldn't influence his decision. Coincidence or a convenient distraction? Let's dig deeper. Insiders are now saying that Trump, always the opportunist, might actually pardon Diddy if the music mogul ends up being federally indicted, not because of any moral allegiance, but because it could serve his own narrative. Think about it. Trump paints himself as the anti-establishment savior. Pardoning Diddy could help him win over a new crowd, distract the media, and push his enemies into a corner, especially if whispers about his own name being in Epstein's files get louder. Diddy's ex-bodyguard came out recently spilling some serious tea, claiming that politicians were helping Diddy pull off his dirty deeds. And guess who's at the top of the rumor mill? Yep, Mayor Adams.
Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Gene Deal believes that Combs' celebrity associates should also be apprehensive. In a recent interview with the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel posted on April 3rd, Deal delved into the potential ramifications of the March 25th raids on Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami by federal agents. I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there, he had princes in there, he also had a couple of preachers in there, he claimed. Deal believes feds got tapes of stuff. When Deal was caught talking about how Combs' media campaigns do not have the support of his entertainment department, the host served him with a blunt question about the major absence of any public statement. Either they took part in some of the stuff that happened, or they're scared that it may mess up their brand. Deal replied with a blunt view.
And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring them in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't.
Deal also hinted at the array of individuals who frequented Combs' events, including politicians, royalty, and even religious figures. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there, Deal remarked with a chuckle. So now the question isn't if Trump will pardon Diddy, it's why the hell he's even considering it. Because let's be real, this isn't about justice. It's not about forgiveness. It's about power, secrets, and control. Elon Musk didn't just expose a move. He exposed a motive. motive. And if what he's saying is even half true, then we're looking at a web of corruption that goes way deeper than celebrity parties or political favors. Trump, Diddy, Musk, 3 men, 1 explosive situation, and only one truth. But then came the curveball. A new report from the Justice Department and FBI, based on a review ordered by Trump's own DOJ leadership, claimed that there is no Epstein client list. No blackmail material was found. No further investigations or charges will be filed. And yes, Epstein died by suicide. Case closed. Just like that, the lid was slammed shut, but the public isn't buying it. Why now? Why this report at this moment? Especially after years of investigations, mounting suspicions, and clear evidence that Epstein had powerful connections to tech billionaires, politicians, royalty, and entertainment moguls. Suddenly, it's all over? Done? Move along? People aren't stupid. The timing alone feels like a coordinated effort to clean up a mess that's about to leak, especially when public opinion is more suspicious than ever. And powerful voices like Rogan and Gervais are fanning the flames instead of putting them out. Let's not forget that Epstein had a network, not just a contact list. Flight logs, visitor logs, offshore accounts, videos, cameras in every room of his island mansion. The man was known to collect leverage on the rich and powerful. And now we're supposed to believe that absolutely nothing usable was found. No names, no crimes, no charges.
A new bombshell regarding disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein this morning. Axios obtained a memo from the DOJ that concludes Epstein did not have a client list and that he died.
And the most damning part, even mentioning this gets you labeled a conspiracy theorist. But that's part of the playbook. Discredit the messengers, bury the facts, and keep the public distracted. Whether it's Diddy's lawsuits, Trump's indictments, or Musk's social media chaos, it all serves one purpose: to make the public forget about the one story that actually scares the elite. Because if the real list came out, if Epstein's full web of clients, collaborators, and co-conspirators were exposed, it wouldn't just end careers. It would collapse industries, send billionaires to prison, and completely upend the power structure as we know it. So maybe that's why the list doesn't exist. Because if it ever did, the people on it made damn sure it would never see the light of day. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.